what she did. I received this long but very detailed, awesome email describing how she went from being a single mom with a teenage son who had a dream to buy an RV and have fun into one that, the dream turned into her worst nightmare. We have that lady on with us. I hope that you will learn something from her story that will prevent you from experiencing your version of RV hell. Let's go on out to line 3. Jessica, are you there?
Yes, Alan.
Well, thank you for being with us. So we have several segments scheduled to hear your story. So let's just begin with who you are and your interest in camping and your dream of buying that new RV. Tell us a little bit.
Absolutely. My name is Jessica. I'm a 34-year-old single mother from southeastern Idaho. I have my 2 dogs and a 13-year-old son that has high-functioning autism as well as a few other disabilities. I absolutely love being outside in the mountains, riverbank forest, anywhere I could get a big, healthy dose of vitamin nature, as I put it. Growing up, I did a lot of camping with my family, anywhere from like tents to, backyard trampoline type stuff to our first pop-up tent and then hard-sided trailers after that. Last time that we were in a trailer was before my dad died in 2002. And anyway, I figured when my son was born that I wanted to continue that tradition with my son. And, for his 5th birthday, I bought him a tent, and we did tent camping and stuff. And he loved it. He still loves it today. And I've had quite a few health problems over the years with things. I've literally had 20 surgeries.
Oh, my.
I was doing really good for a while. I was a top CEO of a company that I helped open up with some friends here in my town. And I come across this video about the minimalism lifestyle and everything, and, starting to seeing the tiny homes and stuff. I started looking into it and realized, man, this is expensive. So I thought, I want to go full-time RVing. I want to get on the road. I want to take my son and experience all these things instead of working my life away. Because, some people know when you start a business, there's no time off. You are
Right.
constantly working day and night. And I got really burnt out after about a year and a half.
What did you buy and how did you decide on buying that one? Tell us about what you ended up buying.
I ended up buying a 2018 Keystone RV Hideout, 26 living space, 30 foot, from tongue to tail. And it first started off just looking online at all of our local dealers, and I finally found a couple that I liked that were out over at Camping World that were used. I kind of wanted to go used at first because I thought I would keep my price low so I can afford to go and do this.
Mm-hmm.
So late Friday afternoon, in February, I went out. In March. In March, I went out and I started looking. I get over to the lot, asking for the used RVs, and they weren't there. He did show me the couple that were there. I didn't like them, and he said, "Well, we had this big, huge hailstorm that came through the month before, and it just did a number on a lot of their units, so they were clearancing them out." He asked if I wouldn't mind looking at one, and I said, "Sure." And that's when he showed me that Keystone. And I loved it. I loved the way that the floor plan was. It was big enough space for me and my dogs and my son. I asked him, I said, I just got this truck last month. Is it going to be big enough to pull it? He looks at the sticker on the outside, asked him what the truck was. And he said, yeah, it'll pull it.
What kind of truck do you have?
I have a 2011 Ford EcoBoost. It's got a 3.5-liter V6 engine.
And you live in Idaho where you have those things called mountains.
Yes, and when we say mountains, they're not like little, foothills. They're steep, up, down, cliff on one side, nothing but straight up on the other side, kind of mountains.
So they tell you your truck will pull this 28-foot trailer.
Yes.
Okay. So now where are we?
Okay, so I like it and everything. I didn't have any stuff with me right there at the weekend. I asked how much to put down on it. He told me $500, and I said, okay, it's closing time. I'll come back in the morning. I'll put $500 down, and I did. We filled out some papers. He handed them to me, take them to the bank type thing. A couple weeks later, after I get my next check, I had more money for a down payment. Bank approved the loan, and as I'm sitting there literally about ready to have the check printed at my bank, I get a phone call from Camping World. I ignored it And then I immediately they called me again. So I thought something's not right. So I answered the phone, and they tell me to wait. And when they said that, I looked at my loan officer and said, I bet you $5 they pulled my unit out from under me. They did.
Oh.
They wouldn't admit it. You know, it only takes like a second to say that three-letter word that starts with Y and ends with an S. So, of course, they couldn't say that because then that would be admitting fault. So
and you had already put $500 down to have them hold it.
Yes. They asked me to come back to look at another unit, and I got there, talked to the guy that called me. He said, what we'll do is we'll give you another unit without the hail damage, exactly the same for the same pricing. And there was a couple of small changes that were in it. It didn't have a TV. Instead of the recliner couches, it was a jackknife. I thought, you know, they're going to try to make things right. I might as well. And
it sounds like a good deal. It sounds reasonable.
It did. Well, they were clearancing it out. They told me it was supposed to be, you know, originally retailed at $30,000 on sale for $20,000, and they were going to get it to me for $16,500 plus, you know, the extra fees on top.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, we're getting everything going. I dropped my truck off so they can put my, you know, hitch and everything all on there. And as I'm out there for the inspection lasted maybe 15 minutes total because I told them that I'd grown up RVing, so they really didn't think anything about wanting to educate me on how to use anything in my RV.
Did you want to spend more time, or did you feel rushed, or?
You know, thinking back on it now, I really wish I had taken more time because it's not like the RVs like my parents had growing up.
Yeah.
You know, they're similar, but they're newer. There's more stuff to it. And, you know, RVing as a child and owning an RV are two different things.
So what was it like, real quickly? What were you and your son experiencing, the excitement about where you're going to be going, the dreams you had? And sounds like y'all had a lot of big dreams.
Really, I wanted to travel mostly, you know, kind of start up in maybe Oregon and hit the coast and kind of go around and, you know, all that. I got a job offer in North Idaho, and I thought, you know, it'd be fun to live up there for a while, save up some money so eventually we could do more traveling or buy a house, whatever. But it was kind of wide open. I didn't want to sit here and work my life away and work from paycheck to paycheck and pay for something that, you know, it's not mine through renting or whatever. I was tired of just being stuck here, you know.
So far, it sounds like you're pretty, I mean, they did sell your RV out from underneath you. They made it right. Mm-hmm. Now you're on the road. You're happy. When did things start to go off in the proverbial ditch?
Well, once we got the RV home and everything, well, let me back up for a second. Before I even left with my RV, they didn't bother to inform me until after everything was hooked up and about ready to be pulled out that I had to have proof of insurance on my RV before I could leave with my trailer. Mm-hmm. And so I went back in and they told me that the best insurance out there was Good Sam. It was #1, top rated, low rate, you know, easy to use, great reviews, all that stuff. So I signed up and paid for it while I was there, gave them the insurance copy, and then I was able to take it home. About a month later, had everything taken care of, you know, housing stuff taken care of, stuff sold, given away, packed up, whatever. And my plan was to take off to Montana for 2 weeks.
Hey, Jessica, hang on. We're going to pick up here when we come back from the break. Folks, while every RV horror story has its own twists and turns, they all begin with a dream, and somehow that dream turns into an RVer's worst nightmare. And that's exactly what happened to Jessica and her son. So we're going to come back and find out exactly what happened with the country's most listened to and most watched show about the RV lifestyle after this. All right, on the RV Show USA guest line is a lady from Idaho, a woman who has found herself in RV hell after buying a brand new travel trailer from Camping World. Jessica, to reset, see if I got this straight. You initially found an RV you were going to buy. You got your financing arranged, put a deposit down on it, went to the bank, got your financing arranged, went back to Camping World. They had sold that RV out from under you, switched you to another one. You were concerned that maybe the trailer was a little bit too big for your truck to tow, but the salesperson assured you that it would be fine. You kind of felt rushed through your walkthrough, but you finally got off the lot with your new RV and you felt pretty satisfied so far. Is that sort of the short version?
Absolutely, yes. So on our initial trip that we were going to take, the plan was to hit Montana and visit with some friends for 2 weeks before heading up to North Idaho. And on our way up, my truck decided it wanted to overheat. And this was just getting into Montana. We decided not to go through Yellowstone. We went to go out and around through Ennis and up that way. And about after that first overheating, put some coolant in it, limped it on into Bozeman, Montana, parked it at the Walmart RV resort, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And from there, we spent the night because roadside assistance said we'll spend some out in the morning. Person came out. He couldn't tow my truck anywhere. He just gave me some mechanical advice. I did what he did, and I decided to take off and make it the next 2 hours up to my friend's place. It just passed Bozeman, Montana, and it really went out. Didn't know what was going on, couldn't get it to start. Called the roadside service back again. They said, all right, we're dispatching someone out to you. They'll be there in about an hour and a half. Long story short with that, we were stranded on the side of a very busy interstate for 6 hours. I ended up having to call 911 because my handicapped son was very upset at the fact that we ran out of water, we ran out of ice, my dogs were getting overheated, and nobody came to rescue us. We were on the phone off and on several times with Good Sam Roadside Service. They kept saying all these things, but nothing was happening. I had to literally stop my son from trying to run into traffic because he was so upset with the situation that was happening.
Hey, Jessica, hang on just a second. I mean,
yeah.
I just so I understand this. So when you bought your RV, the salesperson led you to believe that your EcoBoost truck that was 15 years old could pull this 28-foot travel trailer, yes? Essentially.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Which obviously it was underpowered. It was not able to pull that heavy weight.
Absolutely.
They sold you the Good Sam roadside protection plan, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Of course they did. Okay. Did they, and they sold you the several $1,000 ESP, the extended service plan too, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Of course they did. So they made it seem like you had everything covered, all your bases were covered, but then when you tried to use it, what did they tell you? They couldn't help you?
Well, the thing is, the first guy that I called and talked to on the phone, he said that they were dispatching somebody else. He'd be right there. When nobody showed up a couple hours later, I called back again, and the lady said, oh, there's no real notes in here other than that you called. And I was like, so where's the truck? And she said, nothing's been dispatched. I said, what do you mean? We've been sitting here for hours. It was like 90-degree weather outside on the side of a busy interstate. My truck was completely dead. Even my battery went out on my truck, too.
Did you have any idea, besides it was overheated, did you know why it was doing it? I don't know how mechanically inclined you are, or did you just think it was a coincidence that you broke down on the side of the road?
I thought just maybe it was a problem with my thermostat.
Okay. I want to ask you a really important question. I mean, at least I think it's important. Do you take any responsibility for this disaster so far? I mean, and if so, what do you think you are responsible for?
Honestly, for getting caught up in the grandeur of, wanting to do this RV, for rushing it and not taking my time to, research and do, more thinking and taking my time on stuff. I jumped the gun way too quickly. I didn't really realize that there was more to RVing than what it really is. So I do take responsibility for just wanting to get out there and going.
What did you call when you figured it out that your truck was way underpowered? Did you contact it was probably too late, the salespeople at Camping World and said, what the hell did you put me in this thing for?
I didn't. It wasn't until a couple months later when I was actually able to get my RV towed back down to where I bought it from that, I talked to them about this, and they didn't really say anything about it. They didn't take responsibility for it. They didn't even really say anything when I tried bringing it up to them.
But it's more than just an overheated truck that you were stalled out for hours on the side of the road. This was sort of the beginning of months, and you're still in this RV purgatory. Well, tell us, without going too much into detail, what's happened to you and your son since this whole ordeal last summer?
We became homeless. This was my home. This was all that we had. And we ended up leaving it, my RV, in Billings, Montana, for about 2 weeks at Brett's RV, and we were told to put it in overnight parking, to plug it in, and keep my propane tank on for the refrigerator so they knew I had food in it. I had to go to North Idaho to try to start a job, and when I got my first check, I was able to come back, pay for the repairs of my truck, and I went to go pick up my RV. And when I got to my RV, there, when I opened up my doors, it smelled like somebody had stuffed a couple of dead bodies inside my RV, and I instantly turned around and puked. It was so horrid. Apparently, somebody had come along and unplugged our unit and unhooked our propane tanks, stole my chalk, and all of the food in my fridge and freezer spoiled. And it was this massive, massive maggot infestation that leaked all over the floor, into my bags of clothes that were right there. And it was so bad that it even came out on the vent on the outside of the RV and was dripping down. I went in and yelled at the management, wanting to know what was going on. You know, they promised me everything would be fine, just to leave it there, and it wasn't. And I'm like, what am I going to do? We ended up buying a cheap tent for $24 from Walmart, and we had to live in that wherever we could find a place. We even couch hopped a little bit here and there as we could, and finally it took a friend that I hadn't talked to in 10-plus years that was on his way back from the oil fields and said, hey, I'm coming through. Do you want me to take your trailer and tow it back, to your hometown? And I said yes, because I had nothing. And even when I got here, made my claims through the insurance and everything else, we got denied. We got denied on all of our claims because it just wasn't something that was covered. A maggot infestation is not covered.
So essentially, you're still pretty much homeless.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I feel so badly for what happened to you, and I love the fact that you accept some level of responsibility. A lot of people say, no, I'm not responsible for anything, but I feel so bad for you and for people like you that you trust somebody and then this ends up happening, get into a web of despair and financial ruin. And